This week, we talk about San Diego Comic-Con 2025, and we discuss some of the really cool things that came out of this year's event. Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse. Warning.
Red alert.
Ay, 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 ay!
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
That's the emergency alert. This episode is full of spoilers for some of the latest and greatest nerdy movies and shows.
Spoilers.
Listener discretion is advised. Hey guys, Billy here, and I wanted to take a second to continue to thank you all for voting for me and my wife in this America's Favorite Couple competition. This week is the final week with all the different separate groups, and then the only people moving forward after this week are people who are in first place in their group. And right now we have slipped into second place. So we have until Thursday evening to still be in this competition. So hopefully we can slide back into first. So far, thanks for your votes. But if you could vote another time, keep voting each day if you think about it. That would be so fantastic. It is at americasfavecouple.org/2025/the-tailors-15. One more time, that is americasfave-couple.org/2025/THE-TAYLORS-15. That would be fantastic. Again, thank you so much for voting. Vote every day if you think about it. That would be awesome. And now, back to your regular scheduled program. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infinite Taylorverse podcast. I'm Billy Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Oxner.
And we're back to talk about some fun stuff that happened at San Diego Comic-Con and some other news going on out there. But before we jump into any of that, Taylor, what are you nerding out about this week, man?
This week, aside from SummerSlam that happened this weekend, which is the big deal, I started playing King of Fighters 15.
Oh, nice.
Do you know what those games are?
No.
Okay, so I feel like you probably know characters from these games, but you don't actually know the game.
Okay.
So, like, do you know Terry?
From,
Besides backup Terry, like from Smash Brothers?
yes.
Okay, he's basically the main character of King of Fighters, or at least the most famous character from King of Fighters.
Gotcha.
So it's like a Street Fighter style game that's been around just about as long as Street Fighter, and instead of them doing like a turbo or a alphas and things like that, they just didn't stop numbering. So they're on number 15.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, but they released it for free on the PlayStation Network if you have PlayStation Plus, and it has been a lot of fun to play. It's beautiful. A lot of the characters are like really intuitive once you start playing it for a while. You played it with me actually when you came over the other day.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And that's what that was. But I recommend it. Even with people who like don't like games like that, I feel like it's really easy to pick up.
Yeah, that's funny because when we started to play, I said to you, "I'm not good at these games. I don't really play a lot of these games." And then I won a couple rounds, so
Yeah. I was just like, well, good.
yeah, awesome. Well, let's see. I am nerding out about The Return of the King. And what I'm talking about is Hulu released the new season, 15 some odd years later, of King of the Hill. Last night, I sat down and watched the first 3 episodes, and that's all I've had time to watch, but it was hilarious. The premise is Hank and Peggy have been overseas for the company he works for, representing their Arlen branch or whatever for this propane company, and they've been living
Yeah.
it up, living a very fancy, doted on lifestyle, and something happens where they're brought back home and they're moving back into their old house, and all the interactions with the neighbors and friends and people in the city, and they've kind of been like locked in their own little world, so they didn't realize all the changes, all the technology changes, all the kids on smartphones, and just the world around them has definitely changed from the past 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't say too much because it just came out, but oh my gosh, I haven't been bored once in the first 3 episodes, and I've laughed several times, so
You know, that's a show that I always like. I've seen episodes of it, like probably a decent amount of episodes of it, but I've never actually watched that show
oh my
like
god.
from start to finish. And like There are a handful of my friends who are like, bro, you would like die. You would think it is so funny. And I was like, yeah, I probably would. But I also have like a jillion thing other to watch. But like now that this is out, there's also what's really funny is that this guy named Blorg is his name, Blorg. He's like a rapper.
Uh-huh.
And he just released this song called King of the Pill, where he raps like a trap song in the Hank Hill voice.
That's awesome.
And there's videos of it that he made like a music video, and it's like Hank Hill, and they're all like, he's Hank Hill is like the big. It's definitely not for kids. Like, don't listen. It's really, really just a trap song, like it would be, and it's done really well. And it's right now, I'm ashamed to say, it's on my. You know how like Spotify does the thing of songs that you've listened to over and over again?
Uh-huh.
It's in my top 20 right now. So yeah, I enjoy it a lot. He also does ones that are like with his voice like Marge Simpson, and he's done other things, but this has been like the most popular. But yeah, I kind of have the itch.
That's awesome. Yeah, the old series went 13 seasons and then had a nearly 2-decade hiatus, and this new one just came out, and
How
it's
many episodes are in a season that shows that are like a 20 plus?
I'm gonna guess because I'm gonna be honest, I have not gone back and watched old seasons or
Because
anything like that.
yeah,
But I feel
because
like,
cartoons are weird with the amount of episodes that are in each season.
yeah, I feel like in the 20s is correct.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to. I
It's
just might have to.
it's funny, and I grew up. I don't know. You hear Missouri, and that doesn't seem that south, but I grew up in Southeast Missouri, and
Oh
that
yeah,
is south.
yeah, I lived in Arkansas for like 10 years. I also was born in Texas, so I know these people.
Yeah, these people are my old neighbors, family, friends, you name it.
Yeah. It's funny. It's definitely funny. Yeah, I gotta watch it eventually, if not sooner than later.
I feel like you could probably even watch just this new season because it's
Oh
funny in and
yeah.
of itself, but there's a
And I've
few
seen it.
throwbacks, you
I've
know?
I probably have seen a season worth of episodes. Like I get the show, like I know how it works.
Yeah.
More or less the weird completionist neuroticism wants to like watch it from the beginning
Oh,
without any
100%.
stops. You know what I mean? It's like this is something that it kind of drives my wife crazy too, is that I'll if it's like an old show and she's like, let's watch like an episode this episode or whatever, I'll be like, no, if we're gonna watch an old show, we gotta watch it from the
Oh, I
beginning.
know.
Stuff like that. I'm weird. But yeah.
That stops me
Yeah.
from even like starting shows sometimes. Just the
Yeah,
fact that I'm
me
like,
too.
oh, I
I'm
gotta
like,
watch XYZ
so
first.
yep. And the podcast doesn't help this. Not that I'm complaining about all the things we get to watch in the podcast, even though like I think the track record of them being good is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I'll be like, no, gotta watch this instead. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll even make it be an excuse why I didn't watch something else. So anyway.
Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of news before we get to our main event, which is just the stuff that came out of San Diego Comic-Con. I'm gonna say some Marvel news, and Taylor's gonna say some SummerSlam news, and then we'll just jump into Comic-Con. But let's see. First with Marvel, I don't know if you guys have seen it. They just released this little teaser clip and some images of the new suit that Tom Holland's gonna be wearing, and that thing looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting closer and closer and closer to it just being straight up, let's just not make anything different. Let's just put the suit from the comics in it.
Yeah.
And every time they get a little bit closer, my heart gets a little happier.
Oh yeah.
I really like this one for sure.
Yeah, and they released a little bit of character news that characters that are going to show up. Three kind of important characters that will be a little more prominent in this movie are going to be Hulk, Punisher, and Scorpion, which is kind of cool. And
It's
then
very cool.
a handful of kind of minor characters that are supposed to show up in this movie that we've been told are Mr. Negative,
Yep.
Tombstone,
Yep.
Tarantula,
Mm-hmm. That
Boomerang,
was
and Ramrod.
Yeah, so Tarantula and Ramrod and Boomerang were a huge surprise for me.
Yeah.
One, because Tarantula is like, I mean, would you even put him, like, if you're naming off 50 Spider-Man villains, is he even hitting your 50?
I don't know if I would have even thought of that.
And then Boomerang is a Hulk villain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
More or less than, I mean, he has been in a lot of Spider-Man stuff. I don't know, he probably is a Spider-Man villain at this point. But like the first introduction I ever got to Boomerang was him fighting the Hulk. and him throwing crap at the Hulk.
Uh-huh.
And it was always like kind of a cool fight because it was like the Hulk's just trying to get close to him.
Yep.
He just keeps, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Actually, yeah, I think I have an issue of it where Boomerang's fighting the Hulk, and either Boomerang gives him a crutch where he had to start wearing a crutch, like this giant metal thing for like a couple issues, or if it was he had a crutch and he had to fight Boomerang with the crutch already. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite issues as a kid, and I think that's really cool. Ramrod, I don't even think he's in my top 1,000 villains to think about ever. Ever. I don't even, if I was naming 1,000 Marvel comic villains, I don't think he would even pop up on my radar. So I thought that was pretty cool to just use as some random character. Tombstone makes sense as like a background body muscle guy.
Yep.
You know, and Mr. Negative, unless they're trying to do like a crime boss thing,
Yeah.
and maybe Mr. Negative and Tombstone are different crime bosses, and we're also going to see other crime bosses like in a scene or something.
Yeah.
I could see that as well. Yeah, but Scorpion, I'm really excited about. It'll be the first time we get Scorpion in the big screen, like in a suit, I think.
Yeah, other than that tiny little clip where he wasn't even in the suit or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And this is not quite, Spider-Man Brand New Day news, but they also just announced that a Spider-Punk animated movie is going to be coming as well from the same people that did Spider-Verse.
Well, if they finish Spider-Verse first.
I know. Oh, that's the annoying thing. That thing's been finished for so long. They just keep pushing it back, which makes me wonder if there's plans of a Miles crossover in the live action stuff and they want to time it perfectly according to what they think is right or whatever. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Not like my brain couldn't put that together later, but
Right.
it's fine.
Oh, and this is not Spider-Man related, but that Eyes of Wakanda Disney Plus series is out now, and I've only seen a tiny clip. I haven't had time to watch it yet. There's only 4 total episodes, but man, it looks beautiful. It looks awesome, and I cannot wait to watch it.
I bet it is pretty.
Let's see. How about you tell us a little bit about SummerSlam? What's going on?
So Slumber Slam, I keep doing that. Sorry about my lisp today. I don't know where that's even coming from. Is like, and I've described it before, if WrestleMania is the season finale, then SummerSlam is the mid-season finale. This is the biggest thing. This year was the first year they did 2 nights. And it featured several title changes, notable moments across 2 nights. Night 1, CM Punk defeated Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, only to lose it literally less than minutes. Seth, remember Money in the Bank that I told you about, where they get to cash in on whoever it is?
Uh-huh.
So after it all finished, it was the last match of the night. Gunther went down. CM Punk gets the heavyweight title for the first time, gets a title in his life. It's this big emotional moment. The whole crowd's crying. And then Seth turns in the briefcase to fight him right there after he had just gotten through this crazy fight and beats him and steals the title from him right there in front of all of our faces. It was devastating. And the craziest part is earlier during the Goldberg match that happened. What was that, like a few weeks ago? It wasn't during the Goldberg match, but the match before that, Seth had hurt his kneecap. And so even his wife and everything had him on Instagram and things like that in crutches. So when he showed up to turn in the briefcase, he was still in crutches. And he was like, when I feel better, I'm going to get you now that you have that title. He turns around, throws the crutches down on the ground, and then starts sprinting to the ring. It was the ruse of the year, easily. We even had a feeling, we have a wrestling group chat with friends from back home, and even they were like, it's probably going to happen. And we even thought, well, maybe he's faking it. And then he actually did. It was the craziest thing. And that was night 1, right? That was after an amazing handful of matches. Then night 2, towards the end of the night, John Cena came back earlier in the week, and SmackDown came back as like a face of the company, no longer a heel. John Cena's back, the real John Cena. And so him and Cody Rhodes had a face-on-face fight for the championship, the world championship. And Cena lost to Cody in the end. He shook his hand. He was like, hey, this is the new face of the company. I'm putting him over. Like, he's the next guy. And so it's with John Cena. And then John Cena does this pay. Everyone goes, thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. He's in the middle of the ring. He's sitting there. He's smiling. He's kind of sad that he lost it, but it's like one of those things, And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Brock Lesnar comes out. A man who everyone thought was banned from the WWE, literally, because of all the lawsuits and everything that were going down. And he comes out, and I guess he got cleared 4 months ago, and the only people that knew were like the creative people. And he came out and then gives John an F5. And then they cut the screen. It was amazing. The man hadn't been on WWE TV in years, I think, at that point. So everyone pretty much thought Brock Lesnar's never coming back. Like he's just okay. Well, he quietly retired because yada yada yada. And even months ago, he even said he was like, "I'm probably not going to wrestle anymore." And so yeah, he came out, and now so John Cena's new thing is not to go after the championship belt, but to beat Brock Lesnar before he retires in 4 months. So that was SummerSlam for the most part. I mean, there was also the whole Jelly Roll Logan Paul fight. Logan and Drew won that one, but I believe Jelly Roll will come back. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a great 2 nights.
that's awesome. I'm trying to picture still Jelly Roll and him fighting. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Well, sweet. Well, it sounds like obviously, again, fans of wrestling right now has got some cool stuff going on.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's not even, talking about the AEW stuff right now is actually pretty amazing too. It's just, it's a good time. If you're into wrestling right now, it's people who have been in the industry for a long time are saying that this time has actually been like the craziest. It's very special. Pay attention. So, I mean, they say that a lot, but it's weird. You see the ratings, you see everything. It's massive.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we're going to take a little bit here and talk about some of the stuff that came out of San Diego Comic-Con. And as we go through it, it's kind of noticeable that there was not a huge Marvel presence this year. There was not a huge DC presence. I mean, there
D
was no
D23
Marvel.
effect.
Yeah, that's right. There was no Marvel at all, but there was a little DC, more of the TV stuff. And then there was Marvel and DC stuff with comics, but we'll just kind of go through the list here. With movies, they featured Tron Ares, Predator Badlands, and then the new Toxic Avenger unrated movie. And the Tron Ares stuff, Jeff Bridges is back, Jared Leto's in it playing a villain. From everything I've
Is
heard
he a
about it,
villain?
well, maybe he's not a villain. I don't know.
I saw the trailer for it.
Okay.
Did you see it yet?
I have not seen the one that came out from San Diego Comic Con.
Okay, so there's a trailer that came out when I went to see Fantastic Four on Monday, last
Okay.
Monday. It seems that, and I might be wrong, but it seems like in the trailer, Jared Leto is a program that
Okay.
is like unprogramming himself.
Gotcha.
And so he's like, can leave the program and go out into the real world.
Okay. Well, that seems kind of cool.
And from what I understand, that yeah, there's like a government situation where they're trying to reach the Tron world from the outside too, and that doesn't seem to be a good idea. Almost like an AI kind of situation.
Yeah.
Run wild.
With the Predator Badlands movie, they showed the first 15 minutes with Elle Fanning, who's kind of this cyborg companion that's going along with this new young Predator who's on a mission to get his first kill or whatever. And they also showed a clip of this animated Killer of Killers thing, which shows a connection to every Predator movie that's come before. Like it had animated Danny Glover and animated Arnold Schwarzenegger in this thing. It shows that after each fight from the past movies, everyone seems to have won. But then what they don't show in those old movies is that the Predator race of people capture those winners of all these fights or whatever and cryogenically froze them for an ultimate fight down the road or whatever. And that's what it seems Predator Badlands is going to be dealing with.
Oh, interesting.
And then they showed the uncut full length Toxic Avenger trailer, and that looks a little ridiculous, but awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely see it. I didn't see the uncut trailer yet, or the newest trailer, but I saw the one before it.
Yeah,
I think I got what I need to know from the trailer.
right.
I think the trailer I saw, I think I'm gonna just go into it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. With TV, it's kind of a long list, so let me just bullet point this list real quick. There's a new Alien Earth thing coming. We know Peacemaker Season 2 is coming. They dropped a full trailer for that, which looks amazing.
Yeah, it did look really good.
I'm anxious to see the whole parallel universe thing. Is that going to be the gateway to getting the old Peacemaker into our new universe that's being created? That's my guess. That makes the most sense, but I guess we'll see soon. That comes out later this month. Let's see, they did some stuff on It, Welcome to Derry, which is the prequel to the It movies. That looks awesome. A new thing called The Long Walk with Stephen King. Gen V Season 2, which is also going to be awesome. That new
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah. That new Percy Jackson and the Olympians series on Disney Plus. My kids got us to watch it, and honestly, I liked it a lot. Season two's coming from that. Rick and Morty season 8, plus a spin-off called President Curtis, which is Keith David. You know, he's the president on that show. It's a whole series
Oh
just
yeah.
about him is coming. And The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon season 3 is about to happen, and they confirmed that season 4 will be the final season. They're wrapping up Daryl's stuff. But that's all the TV stuff they did at San Diego Comic Con this year. Let's see. It looks like there was not a ton of video game stuff talked about. They
Yeah,
talked
they
about,
usually do that at what's it called? E3.
yeah, it sounds like they did show something about this Gundam Wings 30th anniversary that's going to cross over with some anime stuff into a video game, but that's it. That's all I see on this list here. Let's see, there were some books, like actual books. There was a Star Wars High Republic book, a new Young Jedi Adventures book for kids, and an Art of the Acolyte art book from Star Wars. So a handful of books from Star Wars. And then over with comics, I've been talking a little bit this past year about the volume 2 of all the Ultimate stuff in Marvel, like Ultimate Spider-Man and whatnot, which I've
Yeah.
loved so much. But it sounds like they're doing an ultimate, it's called Ultimate Endgame, where they're kind of crossing over all the Ultimates and kind of wrapping up this version of the Ultimate franchise.
Oh, is it just not selling well?
I don't know because I've only seen good reviews. And I guess this Ultimate series began with someone time traveling and wreaking havoc on the past, so maybe it gets corrected. I don't really know yet,
Oh, okay.
but it sounds like they're doing an end game of that. There's a new Planet She-Hulk series coming, and a new series called Nova Centurion,
Mm.
and an Alien versus Captain America book, like Alien from the Alien movies.
Oh, that rules. I bet that book will look crazy.
I'll bet. Over with DC, I've also been enjoying their Absolute comics. They've got, at this point, they've got Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Green Lantern, Absolute Flash, and Absolute Martian Manhunter. But it sounds like they're going to be doing, starting soon, a new Absolute Green Arrow. But yeah, I've only read Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and they're awesome. Let's see, DC also had a big Superman presence, which makes sense. They didn't really do much into the movies and stuff, but they had a presence there, focusing on Supergirl and Crypto, which makes sense because their next movie is Supergirl. And if you saw the Superman movie, you realize that Crypto was hers. And so obviously he's going to be back in that movie. And so that's something to look forward to. Over on like the miscellaneous side of comics, there's all kinds of stuff. There's like a new Avatar: The Last Airbender book coming, but it's not The Last Airbender. It's post Korra, so stuff's coming from that. There's
Okay.
a Star Wars Mall thing coming. There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Godzilla thing coming. They had a little bit of a toy presence. There's a new WWE versus Street Fighter figures coming out.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've talked about it a little bit, but there's like a handful of wrestlers that are going to be Street Fighter characters in this new Street Fighter
Yeah,
movie that's coming out, which the way that they're doing casting for this movie looks awesome.
yeah.
I think they're just going with, I mean, it just seems bonkers. Like even like the guy they're playing for Dan is that comedian Andrew Schultz. There's like things like that. It's just interesting who they're picking. I'm interested about this movie. But so I'm guessing that's part of the deal is that they were going to do some sort of action figure crossover with Street Fighter as well.
Yeah.
So they look really cool. I've seen them.
Yeah, it does look cool. They're also doing a WWE nostalgia line with obviously some nostalgic characters from our youth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing, let's see, there's going to be a new, you know how every Christmas Lego puts out those? They have like a Marvel advent calendar and a Star Wars
Yeah.
one and a Lego Friends, I think is kind of the girly one, and a few others. Well, this year they're putting out a Lego Arkham Asylum advent calendar, and it
Oh,
looks so
cool.
cool. Now, typically these things are like 40, $50. This one's $300, so it's kind of
What?
crazy. There's more pieces. The things you build seem a little bit bigger.
Are you building Arkham?
You
And
know?
with everyone in its cages?
I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, but that's a little too out of my range of things I would spend on a Lego set, but it seems like it's going to be awesome.
Wow,
And there was also an announcement that there's going to be a Magic the Gathering and Marvel Legends crossover set of cards, so that's kind of cool.
that is cool.
And the last couple of things that really seemed of note was George Lucas and Guillermo del Toro talked about this upcoming Lucas Museum of the Narrative Arts, honoring all kinds of pop culture art from comics to film to TV, all kinds of stuff. And it's going to feature people like Jack Kirby and Frank Frazetta and Robert Crumb and obviously Lucasfilms. And it's just going to be this new museum that opens up in 2026. And that sounded kind of cool.
Yeah.
And this is kind of just some news. It sounds like San Diego Comic Con is only contracted in San Diego through 2027.
Oh wow.
But after 2027, there's kind of some hiccups that might be going on because the Olympics are going to be in LA summer 2028 and things like that. So I don't know. There's just a little bit of chatter of is it going to be somewhere else in 2028 and moving forward? And that doesn't necessarily mean there will be. It's just chatter that's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big rundown in a nutshell of all the things that came out of San Diego Comic-Con this year. And again, you kind of mentioned earlier we got D23 and the E3 Expo and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
companies are kind of, wanting to do their own thing. So we're going to get more news as the year progresses. It's just not all at this one event anymore like it used to be.
Yeah, which like the anticipation kind of bums me out. Like this year, I completely even spaced the fact that SDCC was, for some reason, I thought it was in like another month, but I guess it is that time of year. It's just, yeah,
Yep.
it's weird because I feel like with the 24-hour news cycle added to like everything as well, it just makes things just, they come out when they come out now. Like we can't
Yep.
stop it. So I don't know how much maybe in the future these cons when it comes to like I don't know, I'm sure they'll have them. I think they're going to look different eventually.
Yeah. I wonder at what point, all kinds of local places like states and every state. There's a con in every state, if not multiple, and they're happening all the time year round. It's I don't know. Some people view that as a bad thing and some people view it as an awesome thing like, "Oh, I could have something like that every month if I wanted to with how available these
Yeah.
things are." But yeah, we'll see how that goes down the line in the future. And I've always wanted to go to the San Diego one. That would be so cool to finally get to go to.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it would also like give me a panic attack.
Right. Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Or at least it would be an experience,
Yeah.
right? If like even if you go and like it's not the best time, you at least saw some crazy stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. Even with the best time, it's definitely most likely wall to wall people.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would have a mixed time if I went.
Yeah.
Like I think there would be things that was awesome. I'm glad I did it, but I think I think I need a break.
Right. And I'm kind of the opposite. I'm so peoply.
Yeah, you are so peoply.
It's
You
like,
are so peoply. You know what? Depending on the day, I can do it.
yeah.
I feel like yeah, we're working on that on this side of the fence, being a little
Yeah.
bit more peoply.
Yeah. It helps when
I
the
en-
people are cool and, friendly and
yeah, I envy that. I
yeah.
envy being, but at the same time, I know people who envy the way I am too, where it's like, you know what? I like the fact that you're confrontational and you don't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
it's not, so it's a double-edged sword,
Yeah. It's funny because
for sure.
I'm thinking young me, very young me, pre 11th grade in high school me was the shyest person you'd ever meet. And then just something just happened in late high school that I didn't care anymore. I just became outgoing. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, yeah, stuff happens. It's weird.
I think what happened to me personally was I used to fear what people thought all the time. And then suddenly, like, I did not care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
Well,
me. This is me, y'all.
yeah, yeah, other things to worry about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's part of it too.
Yeah.
I think people's priorities of what they have going on.
Yeah. It does write the narrative.
Yeah.
So, speaking of San Diego Comic Con, we had a friend of ours, a friend of the show, who had the opportunity to go out to San Diego and experience the con himself. And I thought it would be fun for him to come on here and just tell us about a little bit of his experiences. So, welcome our friend, Robert Manning. Robert, how's it going, man?
Hello, everybody, aka Buddy the Elf as well.
That's right.
Um,
What's your favorite color?
my favorite color is green. What's yours?
Yay. I like blue. I like orange.
Hey, that's amazing.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
so just got back from San Diego Comic Con. Literally, I can't believe it's already been a week. By the time this comes out, it'll be almost 2 weeks before the con's over, which is a hard thing to believe because it was my first year ever getting to go, and that was one of the fastest vacations of my life.
Yep.
It did not feel like I was there in California for 7 days. It felt like I was only there for one.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I've been seeing on your social media and things like that. I've seen a couple of your experiences, and I'm sure you
Mhm.
had way more, but these two kind of stood out to me. Tell us a little bit about when you got to be in one of the panels and you got to ask a question to a certain Mr. Peter Dinklage. How did that
I
go down for
had a
you?
feeling you would want to talk about that, and I don't want to tell you anything. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was one of the literally a dream come true. You talk about, and even I had some friends of mine. You talk about magical moments that happen at San Diego Comic-Con, and that right there was my magical moment. The thing that I'll be honest, I cried after meeting Peter Dinklage. It's like probably your experience with the Back to the Future. I know how much you love the Back to the Future. That's
Yep.
how much I love Elf. And Peter Dinklage, if y'all don't know, does not do conventions. And so the moment that Billy's talking about is, so I was in Hall H on Thursday. And if y'all don't know about Hall H, it's one of those things that depending on who's there, this year Marvel wasn't there, so Thursday wasn't as packed. But the way it works is I was there all day from 11 o'clock. And the panel that I needed to go to that was in Hall H wasn't until 5:30. Now, there was other things that I enjoyed, so I had to sit through some of the panels, but I did that because that I knew I would have a chance to meet Peter Dinklage.
Yep.
So one of the panels in Hall H that day was the Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty cool. We got exclusive footage. Got told it's going to be scarier, more more animatronic. However you say that word, that's hard for Buddy to say. The robot.
Yep, animatronics.
Yeah, that word. Yes. So they were talking about that. Matthew Lillard sent a video because he was filming. Skeet Ulrich is going to be in it.
Oh, nice.
If you didn't know, he was at the panel, so that was pretty cool. So you had different panels. So make a long story short, here comes the Peter Dinklage, and I was at the edge of my seat because the way it worked is as soon as they let the panel start, you got to run to the Q&A session.
Yeah.
Now the rule is you're supposed to be in a seat. It's supposed to be the rule. One person didn't have to per se go by that rule, and when I passed right by him, they're like, "Sir, that person was in front of you," and I'm like, he was not in a seat. Oh, he was asking a question. So it was like, thankfully some of these panels, thankfully I was the second one in, so I didn't really care too much.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to have been the second one in, I may have been a little more frustrated because some of these panels that I've been noticing all day, they only take about the first 5 people.
Gotcha.
So it's like your regular convention, but it's not. I called San Diego Comic-Con the promotion convention.
Yeah.
It's a big promotion convention. It promotes the items and stuff like that. Okay, so back to the Peter Dinklage. So right before I got up there was awesome. They were like calling Peter Dinklage all these different names of different characters he was. And they called him a tyrant. And about 3 minutes later, he's like, "Wait, when did I play a tyrant?" And everybody in the crowd's like, "Elf." He's like, "I beg your pardon?" He's a person that loves making books for kids. And then he was like, "Miles Switch, tyrant." And then it just so happened, like about 5 minutes after that interaction, here comes me about to ask the question, and he goes, "Hey everyone, there's a tyrant." Or speaking of a tyrant, and oh my gosh, Billy, I wish you were there because nobody knew what he was talking about. And I know you've seen the video.
Yeah, and then your picture goes up on the big screen.
And if you guys didn't know, San Diego, when you do ask a question, your face goes on the big jumbo screen because Hall H holds 6,500 people. So they want everybody to be able to hear you, and they want everybody to be able to see you. And oh my gosh, the crowd went absolutely nuts when they showed me on there. And after the panel tells you anything, about 100 people approached me afterwards and they called me a tyrant.
That's so funny.
Much that I had to be like, "Call me tyrant one more time." So yeah, it was a crazy experience with Peter. I got a quick selfie with him after the panel real quick. Didn't realize he was going to get closer, so I didn't want to rebug him, but I did get a kind of a faraway selfie, but he's like, "I love your outfit." So I got that interaction, and that was something that meant a really lot to me because like I said, I've been cosplaying as Buddy since 2017, and there's not a lot, I hate to say it, but there's not a lot of cast members that are still with us that are from Elf. I mean, there's still a good amount that are still still with us, but a lot of them have passed away.
Yeah, I'll have to find your social media video and I'll throw the audio in here so people can hear you ask your question.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Look, everybody, a tyrant is here.
My question is for Peter, aka Miles Flint.
Naturally. What's it like to play a tyrant?
Let me know. No, I'm just kidding. My question for you is, when you got the role, did you rewatch the movies, the cartoon, or read any of the comics to prepare for your character?
Are we talking about Toxic Avenger? Sorry, the costume. Specific to something else in my canon. No, again, I was very well aware of Lloyd's amazing original Toxic Avenger. I was like the exact perfect age for it. It was the time of Betamax and VHS, and it was R-rated, so somebody had an older brother. There was always an older brother. Vicky and I were talking about this earlier, that somebody had that, and their parents were like not around. My parents watched Masterpiece Theater and made us read books. But my friend had an older brother, and we got the Betamax copy of it. And it felt taboo, and it was awesome. And there was like some nudity in it. And it was like, cool, this is wild. And we live in New Jersey. Yeah, again. So it was fantastic. So yes, I had that, of course, in my brain going into this one, and and then making it just completely reimagined it all.
Thank you.
Your costume's good. What did you say?
I said you're not an angry elf.
I can get angry really quick.
So, what's the other magical moment?
The other one that seemed so cool to me was, it looked like you got to do a reading of Jay and Silent Bob Meet Archie with Kevin Smith.
Okay, yes. And I'll speak of one other moment, too, because I know there's one other big moment, so I didn't know if that was going to be the moment or the other moment. But, yes, there's a new comic book that's out, guys, that is called Jay and Silent Bob Meets Archie, or Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob, I think, actually, what it is. And, yes, so they had off-site events at San Diego Comic-Con, and I will give one disclaimer. If you are a kid, do not pick up that comic book. Wait until you're a little older.
Yes, that one's, I've read it. It's for sure not for a kid.
Yeah, it shocked me. I'll be honest. I mean, it doesn't shock me, but it shocks me because I was thinking, oh, it's Archie. It should be an innocent book. And then you're like, oh, no, this is definitely a Kevin Smith book, you know? So that's just a fair warning to parents and stuff. If you see your kid that's 8-year-old with this book, I don't suggest it, but I mean, hey, you do you. But that's just my little disclaimer saying it's not exactly a kid's book.
Yeah.
And Billy can test, so that's good. But yes, so they had this ticketed event that I paid for, and what the cool thing was is he was casting different people to play the different parts. Obviously, he was playing Silent Bob, and Jay was playing Jay, and there's a character called Randall that's in the book. That part was originally, he was explaining that part was originally supposed to be him in the movies. He originally wanted to play that part or something, he was explaining.
Yeah.
So he said, tonight I'm going to give the voice to this character. And so he voices Randall, and they were casting. Well, I wanted to be Jughead Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be Archie. They already had an Archie person. They had to come up. And so I really wanted to play Jughead Jones. And he's like, okay, we need Jughead Jones. And I put my hand up, and everybody's like, pick buddy, pick buddy. And Kevin was wanting people to do impressions. And it was so funny because he dissed my Shaggy, but I don't blame him, even though it was still there somewhat. But that day at Hall H, we were screaming because I was trying to get a signed Funko Pop from Fluffy, because they're like, yell and we'll maybe throw you. And so my voice kind of went out. And so I can understand why Kevin's like, but he still let me go up on stage. And then they had the Archie guy get up because Archie wasn't in any of the scenes. And they had me sit right. They're like, hey, go ahead and sit by Kevin Smith. And I'm like, thinking in my mind, what? What? And what was great is the people that were sitting right next to me, I gave them my phone. So the footage that you see that's on the social media is a video that they shot. And I just love that they captured the moment, because at the very end, he says, Kevin Smith goes, hey, everybody give applause for Buddy the Elf. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's my shout out from freaking Kevin Smith. And then what people didn't realize, but I only knew because I met the guy at a different convention, but the guy that's in that video that's doing the Arnold voice, that's Brett Azar. And Brett Azar is known for, I think it was Terminator Genesis. He was the younger T-800.
Okay.
He was the younger version of Arnold when they show Arnold's stunt double, or I mean, not stunt double, but when they show a younger version of Arnold, that was him. And he was the Iron Sheik in the Young Rock TV show.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, that's Brett Azar, and I don't think Kevin realized, I still don't think to this day, that Kevin realized that he had another actor on his stage. So I thought that was funny, because I recognized him, because the Arnold voice is just so good. And by the way, I know if I don't do this, fans are going to be a little sad. So here you go. Like Zoinks, man. Like Buddy Old Bad like Scoob. They wanted something for Jughead, so I said, why not do Shaggy for Jughead Jones? But yes, so that was a really cool moment. And then I got my comic book. Unfortunately, I didn't get signed by Kevin because Kevin had to go do something right away and he didn't come back out. But my comic book did get signed by Jay the next night. So that was really cool. One other magical moment that happened, and yes, I knew Kevin Smith would mean something to you because you just got to interact with Kevin recently. So that's really cool. But the one cool thing is, so Saturday night, I spent the night outside. You may have seen one of my Facebook posts about me sleeping outside. And I know that sounds crazy, guys, but that's literally a tradition, because Hall H, like I mentioned, once it has its 6,500 people, they won't let anybody else in. So I formed up a team of 24 of us that we took shifts from Saturday at 3:30 in the morning all the way to the panel, and we were the first ones in the Hall H, and we got front row for George Lucas.
Oh, nice.
First time ever at San Diego Comic-Con.
And you're in the front row.
Yeah, literally. And what's cool is I'm now technically canon to Star Wars. And you may be like, what do you mean by that? If you go look up George Lucas on like Facebook, go look up their actual page. There is a small video from that panel towards the end. You may have to pause it because it's one of those things, if you don't look, you blink, you miss it. It's towards the end of the video. They show us on the front row, and you see me in the corner too as Buddy filming. And
Nice.
I was like, I'm now canon to the Star Wars universe.
That's amazing.
And it was cool as Queen Latifah noticed me, because she was like, hey, everybody, give yourself a round of applause. And I was like, whoa, I was going crazy. And she said, there's my guy. And she was pointing right at me, and I freaked out. I told my friends, I was like, I told you, you didn't believe me, but I said if anyone was going to notice me, it was going to be Queen Latifah. And that's exactly what happened.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah. And the cool thing about going to San Diego Comic-Con is you get exclusive content, and you get to, meet different people that you normally wouldn't have the chance. Just like finding out about the Five Nights at Freddy's was pretty cool, or getting to know more about the Toxic Avenger. If anybody was asking, that's the actual panel that Peter Dinklage was at.
Yep.
Is the Toxic Avenger movie that comes out at the end of this month. That also has Elijah Woods, which was a funny thing, is everybody kept asking Peter Dinklage a question, like literally after me, 4 people in a row were asking just Peter. And I think it's funny because it got to the point where Elijah Woods got up for a second like he was offended, and Peter kept giving everybody a hard time. He's like, I'm not in Lord of the Rings, right? He was like messing, like, we got a Lord of the Rings person right here. And I was thinking, and I couldn't say it out loud, obviously, but I was thinking, I'm like, the reason why nobody's asking Elijah Woods a question is because he does a bunch of conventions compared to you, Mr. Dinklage, that
Right,
does
right.
no conventions. So this is their one and only chance, like me. That was my one and only chance to meet him.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a little about San Diego. We got to hang out with Jim Cummings, so that was really cool.
Nice.
Because I worked for him on his podcast, Cough Cough, tuned in with Jim Cummings. There's a little plug for Mr. Cummings.
Nice. Well, dude, I'm glad you had a great time, and thanks for hopping over here and sharing with us a little bit about just what it was like being there. I know that's on my bucket list. Hopefully someday at some point in the not so distant future that I get to go to. And yeah, man, that's so cool.
I look at it this way, Billy, is just keep trying, and you don't know what connections can get you to complete your dreams, is what I'm going to say with that, because it's all about who you know. And what I would suggest for you is just keep an eye on it. I mean, maybe you even saw that if you had any artist friends, or you may have saw that with you doing your podcast, you may have connections. Like I said, it's all about who you know, and that may be your lead way to actually get to go.
Sweet.
I mean, that's how I got in. It's all about who you know.
That's awesome.
So
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. And yeah, I look forward to,
yes.
I'm sure, seeing you out and about at some point at some con in the future.
Yes, hopefully another con. I know there's the Arkansas Comic Con coming up in September, but I will say, if you guys want to find me, go on social media. On Instagram, I'm Batpool97, BATPOOL 97, or TikTok. You should be able to look up Buddy the Elf and go under users. If not, it's Batpool_97_recovery to live. So that's where you guys can find me. And thank you for having me on again. This was fun.
All right, man. Well, hey, you have a good one.
You too.
But
All right,
yeah,
man.
that was San Diego Comic-Con. That was Spider-Man. That was SummerSlam. Lots of cool stuff going on. But you guys know the drill. Next week we'll have some more news for you, and hopefully you come back and listen. But as for us here at the Taylorverse, I've been Billy Taylor.
I'm Taylor Oxner.
Come back next week, guys. Same Taylor time, same Taylor channel.
Bye.
Bye.